I'm not sure exactly what to make of some of the words in the lesson for this morning. For it says, God's foolishness is wiser than human wisdom, and God's weakness is stronger than human strength. Maybe God is foolish. I mean, God gives us this incredible creation, turns it over to us, and we probably don't take as good a care of it as we should. And maybe God, in a way, is weak because he doesn't control stuff like maybe we'd like it to. I mean, life can be very random, very unpredictable, often confusing and unfair. And somehow in the middle of all this randomness, that's where God lives and speaks to us. And so maybe, in a way, God is weak because he does not control and make everything turn out okay. So I'm driving along in my pickup truck, and I was listening to that song by Fleetwood Mac entitled Sarah. And for some reason, it's not her birthday or anything, I just flashed back to 28 years ago when Sarah was born. And it was the Nussel's first grandchild. And they were excited, the gift of new life. And the reality was that Sarah was born with Down syndrome, and obviously that would affect her journey and her parents' journey and their journey for as long as she was on this earth. And she's doing really well now. She's in a group home in Iowa, and she's a real pip. She's fun. I remember the children's sermon I gave that Sunday after Sarah was born. And that was before I gave stuff away. But it was about a tree that was planted, and the tree grew up different. It didn't have all of its branches. Some of the leaves looked kind of broken. But there was one leaf on the top of the tree that never, ever left. The wind, the rain, the change of the seasons, that leaf on the top of the tree was always, always there. And I remember the last time I saw Sarah was 2 years ago at a family camp. And I realized that that leaf on Sarah's tree was still there. Because she has a spirit and a light and a gift that no amount of wind and rain could ever take away. And I see that same spirit in Amy Lucas, who was always here at the early service, and she's 32 years old. And her leaf has not fallen either, because somehow, some way, through an inner kind of strength and God-given goodness and family and friends that care, that leaf is always going to be there, because it symbolizes hope and goodness and grace. All of us know that life is not perfect. We all know that at the end of the day, in Genesis, God would say, this is yours, but it is good. He didn't say it is perfect, it is good. And somehow, some way, in the midst of what we go through, I guess our calling is to try to discover the goodness in life. We need to find that one leaf that doesn't fall. We need to find that leaf of hope and the leaf of goodness and the leaf of unconditional love that can kind of hold us together in the most difficult of times. And in a world where things are often upside down, maybe we can line our souls with that cup of God's grace and goodness, so somehow that light can shine every day. I worry about our world. I worry about the state of Illinois, because I realize more and more, and some of you are affected by it, that somehow when we don't listen to those words, blessed are the meek, blessed are the humble, blessed are the peacemakers, somehow, some way, the people that make decisions, we got to be humble. We have to be peacemakers. We have to make sure that the decisions we make life better for those who need it. When I see adults who take care of their adult disabled children and they no longer have money for respite care, that hurts, and it's not necessary. When I see minimum age workers who work all kinds of jobs, and they lose their jobs because the state doesn't pay their bills, I worry about that. Because somehow, some way, our job is to make the world a better place and to make decisions that make life better for other people. And Lordy, Lordy, I love our country. I love America more than I ever have. I believe in the American spirit more than ever. And I'm not sure how it is for you, and I don't expect all of us to feel the same, but when you see all the divisions and the protests and the anger, it rips me apart because that's not what our country stands for. Our country stands for freedom and somehow reaching across the aisle and stepping back and realizing that what we do is to make sure that those who cannot take care of themselves can be taken care of. That's at the very heart and soul of who we are. And then I think of that one leaf that doesn't fall. That one leaf of goodness and strength. And every day I grab onto that because that is what life is all about. I think back to Pack the House 3 weeks ago in the Marist Gymnasium. And I wish I could take everybody in Springfield and Washington, D.C. and just kind of sit them down on those bleachers and watch those kids play basketball. When you see the human spirit come together and there's magic in the air, there's power in weakness, because the blessed and the humble and the meek and all those people come together, and that is what we stand for. That's what life is all about. I even got a little emotional about the men's club. It's hard to get emotional about our men's club. They're in the kitchen on Wednesday night, and what they do best is eat pizza, eat wings, and drink Old Style. And I brought up a lady named Gail that they don't know who's going through tough times. And I said, is there anything we can do to help? And one guy says, how about $200? Oh no, let's go 3. And Don, we always round up, let's make it 5. And it was 5. And then Jim Melker brings up a friend of his who died in his 50s and leaves behind a severely autistic son. And they said, how much money? And they go, 5. Within 3 minutes, we spent $1,000. And it was no big deal. Because you know something? Those guys in that kitchen every single week for the past 25 years, when somebody needs something, they don't say, what can we afford? They say, how much do they need? And that's what they do. And I know our church may be Lutheran, that's what's on the sign. But all I know, and Pack the House, and in that men's club, and right here in this room, our religion is kindness. That's what religion is all about. Unconditional love for all God's children. You know, in the midst of all that goes on around us, I guess instead of trying to change the world or trying to change our country or trying to change the state, all we can do is make change in the moments that we live every day. One moment, one person at a time. And somehow that's got to be enough. I walked out back this morning, and there's a brass tree in Jude's garden that Roger Carlton made. And it has branches that are all bare. And on the top of the tree is one leaf. And Roger called that the leaf of hope. And as I walked away and looked back at that tree, and I saw that one leaf, that leaf of hope, I realized anew that that one leaf is what gets us through every single day. Amen. If you're able to, please rise for the creed. It's on page 105.